There you go.
Now it's time for the Brian Treybig Show. Yay!
Hey!
Hey!
Hey! Hey! Hey!
Hey!
Hey! I think we should start the show. Yeah. Everybody go home!
I thought we just started it.
Get it! Go home!
I'm confused. We're done.
Hi.
Wait, what?
Thank you.
David, you're supposed to walk off.
Bye. Wow. I was so stupid. All right, everybody. Hi. How's it going? It's as they all said, it's the Brian Treybig Show. I am way far away in the shade because that's how we do it. I'm your host, Brian Treybig. We don't like the sun. Yeah, we do. Come on, that's silly. All right, this is your weekly show every Saturday at 3 p.m. Today we got a great show for you. We have a couple of guests from the Ghost Tours of Galveston Island and hoodlums. Hoodlums all around. They get paid in popcorn. Don't ask me. Are you done? I said go home. Go home. Go back to your home.
I'm not done yet.
No, you're done.
No.
You need more popcorn?
Yes.
All right, go. It's inside the boat.
No.
All right.
I take your baton.
Yeah, I take the baton. All right. Oh, great. Really? This is not product placement at all. Okay, this is a little loopy. I got some friends and family in town and all that stuff. But today we're going to talk about the Ghost Tours of Galveston Island. I've got Jordan and James. Are we going with James? Or James. Jordan and James here to talk about the Ghost Tours. But first off, I got to tell you about this really cool story that happened. You know, the internet, there's some funny people, I tell you what. And a university decided to ask the internet what they would love to name a submarine if they had a chance. So they had this huge poll of naming this submarine. Can you guess how many names came in and what type of names that came in? Well, geez, I can't give you all of them, but it turned out that the winner of the name contest was Bodie McBoatface. That is the legitimate name of the submarine for the university that did some research. So, Bodie McBoatface has been to Antarctica, very, very deep in the water, about 40,000 meters deep, recording some really, really cool stuff that they've never seen before or heard before or whatnot. But it's back, it's in good shape, and it's a brilliant name for it. Speaking of names and words, today's weekly word is, can you see that? Can you see it? There it is, legitimate. It is legitimate. Now, what does that mean? It means you know that something is full of shit, but you're afraid to say it in a mean way. So if somebody says, yeah, this and that and this and that, you could say, yeah, that sounds legitimate. And so there you go. There's your word to use all day, every day. All right. It's real hot, so we're going to bring on our guests. Come on, you guys. Come on over here.
James is like, okay.
I know. Hi, you guys. How's it going?
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Well. All right.
TV land.
Wow. All right. This is what's really cool. These two work for Dash Beardsley's Ghost Tours of Galveston Island. They do many tours there. I just realized that these tours are, next year, will be 20 years old.
Yep. Yes.
The original Strand Tour is 20 years old.
Yep.
Jeez, and that started in 1998, dealing with, it's a tour on the Strand, downtown Galveston, dealing with history and mystery. And there was so much stories, so many stories, he had to create more tours.
Yes, he did.
Exactly.
And he created the Restless Spirits Tour, which is mostly spirits and ghosts, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not as much history.
It talks more with the darker underbelly of Galveston.
Okay, yeah, I heard it's a darker tour.
Yeah.
It's an hour and 45 minutes of a walking horror story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Very
that's-
bloody and
That's
gory.
why it's a 13 and over tour.
Oh, I see. So if you're 13, you're okay with the murdering and stuff. Okay. All right. And the cemetery tour, that deals with more history stuff.
Yeah.
Now, you've done a lot of that tour, right? Have you done that tour at all?
With him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, mostly we just have the two guys doing the cemetery. So we have every other Friday and Saturday, it's either me or Will who does our cemetery tour.
Yeah.
And we wander through, telling you the people that are there, a little bit about the stories of what we know. Also, we talked a little bit about kind of like the receiving vault and how the cemetery came into being.
Yeah.
About the death of Galveston. So it's evolving as we go.
Uh-huh. All the stories and such.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and you come up with a lot of stories yourself as well, outside of the tours, doing research. What's really cool about the tour guides for Dash's tours is that they're so passionate that they'll do research on their own and talk to Dash and see if they can involve it into the tours. Galveston has so much history and so much death that it just has to be talked about. And mainly, it comes from the Great Storm of Galveston Island that happened in 1900. And, over 6,000 people on the island perished, right?
Yes.
The number's a bit uncertain.
Yeah.
They believe it's anywhere between about 6,000 to 12,000.
6,000 to
that could have
12,000
lost.
people.
Because a lot of people left the island never to return. A lot of people were washed out to sea.
Yeah.
A lot of people were buried where they were found. A lot of bodies were never found.
Yeah.
So the numbers are hard to really come about because even after the census had been done in June,
Yeah.
and then the storm happened in September, and in between that time, a lot of people had come and gone, so we didn't have an exact number.
Gosh. And, friends, I don't know if you know this, but the Great Storm, it covered Galveston. You couldn't see anything but the lighthouse over in Bolivar. That was the only thing there that you could see. Now all these people died. What are you going to do with them? What did they do with them?
Threw him into the water.
Really?
But that did not stop them. They washed right back up 3 days later.
So-
Baking in the hot, hot sun.
So thousands of bodies stretch across the beach
Yep.
where kids now play and have fun.
Yes.
Yeah. When the storm hit, we had 25 feet of water cover our island.
Yeah.
And then the water table, of course, rose and we're 9 feet above sea level. So even the people in the cemeteries were popping up out of the graves.
Oh my gosh.
People in mausoleums and all were being washed out. So we couldn't bury anybody.
No.
So it was collect the bodies, put them on barges, carry them 20 miles out to sea, and dump them overboard.
Yeah.
Thinking, okay, we're done. And then several days later, they washed back up on the beach.
And then what do you think they tried to do with it, huh?
Well, officially, we know what they did with it.
Yeah, we do.
Officially, but what do you do with these bloated, waterlogged bodies after you tried to send them out to sea? They washed. I fixed the internet. There were too many flies around. Okay, we're back. It's part 2 of the saga. We left you hanging, huh? You're like, ooh, sulfur on the bodies. Oh, where did we go? All right, so we got, they got them dried up, and they decided to burn these bodies everywhere. Piles of bodies, all on the island.
Officially, we took all the bodies. Most of the buildings were gone except for where the historic Strand site is.
Yeah.
So
that was the highest part over there.
We brought
right?
our bodies in and started storing them in the bases of all the buildings. Where all the shops and the restaurants are now.
Oh, like the ice cream parlor and stuff like that?
Yeah, the
Oh,
Kings, the Leon Blum building.
Even the Henley building.
The
gosh.
produce building. In fact, the produce building was the coldest building there.
And
Yeah.
the Civil War
So-
Hospital.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
bodies were just stacked in those buildings until it was time for burning. And because we had so many, burning wasn't like, okay, well, we're just going to be done in a week. Our longest burning pile actually took over 3 months to burn.
Oh my gosh, 3 months of burning flesh.
And as many as entire family clans were interred there.
Oh my gosh.
In fact, today, if you wander the Strand,
Yeah.
we have this beautiful bus terminal there.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That was where the largest burn pile was.
Gosh, that's right there on 25th and Strand.
Yep.
And that's always our first stop for the bathroom, and I always make sure I tell my patrons.
So yeah, now when you get to use the restroom, you might get to see if you have a visitor in the restroom with you.
Oh, I see. The ghost of John. No. Okay.
The ghostly John.
Yeah.
All right, so you're telling me these bodies were everywhere on the island, and in essence, the island's a graveyard.
Yeah, we like
Graveyard
to call
with
it.
the beach touch.
Yeah, we like to call it cemetery with beach touch.
So, when you normally go into a cemetery, you try to avoid not walking on people's graves and things like that out of respect.
Right. You can't do that in
And,
Galveston.
and isn't that a huge tourist area?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thousands of people go down those streets.
Oh yes, they're walking and swimming in the beaches and playing in the water as we speak.
Oh.
Okay, so they're walking down the street, drinking, having a good time, not worrying about it.
Yes.
Okay, we're back. This is part 3. All right, check this out. Here's another reason why this is happening. Of course, first show, technical problems, but as always, when you're talking about spirits and ghosts and people who have passed on, they affect electronics a lot, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Quite
yes.
a bit.
Yeah, so I guess we should have expected this. Now, we were going into the cemetery. Now my point was, it's not right if people are partying, going into the cemetery or whatnot. So, naturally, walking down the Strand, partying, having a great time, and not respecting the dead right below their feet, what do you think's going to happen? A little restless spirit action, right?
Absolutely.
Stirring up the energy.
And you've experienced a lot of things ghostly.
Yes.
Now, do you have a story?
Well, I do. I have more than one. But when I was with James and Alicia, when he was leading the tour, we were by the Civil War place where Edward Lee is buried. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw a Civil War officer, a Union officer. He had long blonde hair, and he had the officer hat and the entire garb on, and he was showing me where he was buried. And it turned,
What?
and it took me a while, and I realized that I knew him at one time.
And
Okay. Through research, through history.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
I had a past life memory of being down on the island during the 1860s as well as the 1920s. And I was a lover of Edward Lee.
Whoa, baby, we got some good ones here. James, what do you got?
For me, officially, this was actually several years ago when I was giving the Strand tour. I had finished, went down to the Drunken Monkey, kind of listening to the music playing, and while I'm down there, of course, my car is up by the Railroad Museum.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to walk back up the Strand to get my car. This is about midnight. I'm walking up Strand. I passed by where the Henley building is on the Rosenberg building, trolley station, all that. As soon as I stepped on there, all the hair on the back of my neck stood up, immediately frightened. I just knew I did not need to be in that area. Walking by there, I got past the Rosenberg building. At that time, there was wooden boards up on all the windows except for one door.
Okay.
I felt like I'm being stared at
Yeah.
the whole time I'm walking by, and as I go, it's just like getting more and more afraid of being there. As soon as I step off onto 21st Street, crossing back over to get on the next block, I'm fine. It was just that one section, and of course, that's our most haunted section of the Strand.
Oh my gosh.
And James was he was relearning the original tour with me, and I had like 12 people on tour. We were just passing the Ebenezer Bacon Nichols building where Mr.
Oh,
Katz
yeah.
is, and I was turning around to him to tell him something, and right behind him in the tour, I saw a Confederate soldier. And right when I saw him, he just disappeared. So I mostly see the soldiers down there.
And,
That is a big spot right there.
and I've been to the Hutchins building too. I went
Yep.
and ate dinner in the Hutchins building, and our basically our waiter brought us up to the second floor where the school barn was.
Yeah.
And they've got a nice dining room up there.
Yep.
And he said, nobody wants to come up here. It's the scariest part. Everybody's afraid of this room. And I was walking in the front where the 3 large windows are, and I could not breathe. I mean, it was like heavy pressure on my chest.
Now
could not
you're
breathe.
facing the Strand.
Yeah, I'm facing the Strand with the 3 large windows
Yeah.
right over the restaurant.
Yeah, I've been in it right there.
And I'm like, I can't breathe. I walk out of the room and, had gone to the back, started feeling a little bit better, walked back in, exact same sensation. Went down to the restaurant, was fine in the restaurant.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of energy on the Strand.
You could just feel it, and I know some people who don't even believe in ghosts can walk into a building and just feel like I tell you, the best description that I can say about it is that we were doing a ghost hunt at the Menard House,
Yes.
and there in the back portion they have a they didn't do much more work to it, but it was the kitchen that existed way before. And as soon as I walked into that place, it felt like a blanket was wrapped over my body. I just felt like I was being held on to by a blanket or something like that. And you could just feel the weird energy, you know. And it may not be bad energy, but it's energy nonetheless.
We did one not last year, but the year before I went. My first ghost hunt, I got my ass grabbed.
Really?
Yes, I got my ass grabbed that night. Sarah got her ass grabbed.
Well,
And then another one of ours.
See, not all these ghosts are respectable, okay?
and there's one evening we were doing a ghost hunt in the custom house.
Yes.
And
Oh, that's
I
right.
drove home from the custom house, and apparently a spirit came home with me.
How do you know that? What?
Riding in my car, I was terrified.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I could not stop, you know, just being terrified, screaming, crying, you name it. Standing in my room, I knew he was there. Yeah. I'm not saying I have ability,
Yeah.
but I can sense stuff.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I will tell you, I was sensing stuff with me that whole time for about a week. I was just distraught. I hated being in my room by myself.
And that's happened to me too, but because I started hearing them and I can see them at times. I don't have control over this,
Yeah.
but my husband had gotten up to go get his coffee. I was in between consciousness, like wake and sleep, but I heard a little girl screaming, "Miss Jordan!" clairaudiently, and in my head I thought Belle. And right when I thought Belle, I hear her go, "Hello!" And then I get a vision in my third eye of her and a little boy that says to haunt the back of the Tremont house that legend has it we call Jimmy, standing right by my bed. And I was so excited, I ran into the kitchen to tell my husband, and he had not even had turned on and got his coffee cup, and I was like, "John, you're not gonna believe this! Belle and Jimmy followed me home." I was just too excited about it.
Of course.
He looks at me and he's like, "Why'd you have to tell me this so early in the morning?"
Well, remember last year, we did Ashton Villa and
Yeah.
St. Joseph's Church.
Yeah, that was
And,
wonderful.
I'm making it
you
this
know,
year.
St. Joseph's Church, I had gone over there because, you know, Dash and Katie and all were trying to go over to Ashton Villa, and there was nobody there, so I was like, sure, I'll come over.
Yeah.
So I've been wandering through looking at it, and I was standing on the stage looking towards the front door, and I actually had stood over by where one of the chairs was, and I knew somebody was there with me.
Yeah.
You know, you could just feel the presence. I had been doing audio recording the whole time, and it was probably 6 to 8 months later, I finally started listening to it. And in one of them, I remember hearing, you know, "Do you have it? This is Jonathan."
And it's
Wow.
a young man's voice. You can clearly
And-
hear it.
That was actually in the attic of Ashton Villa.
Yeah.
And there was nobody around the audio recording. It was in the pitch black. You hear somebody talking in the background. It's a lady asking some questions, but my recording's on the top of a bookcase, and nobody's near us.
Yes.
And that's when you hear, "Do you have it?" Like they are looking right at the bill and talking to it and saying, "Do you have it?" Then they say, "This is Jonathan."
Yeah.
And it's weird, right before he had even played this for me and Alicia and Mike, the night before he did and even told us about it, I heard clairaudiently, "Jordan has it. Jordan has it. Jordan has it." I'm like, what in the hell do I have?
My
Yeah.
goodness.
And this is before I've met Jordan, before I met Alicia or Mike or anything. You
Yeah.
know? And then Jonathan his name has appeared, and he's said his name several times.
Mm-hmm.
Various times that we've been together, especially in the Nichols building.
Yes.
Yeah, the Nichols building. Gosh.
He wanted me to know he was there.
And I mean, not on the tours. I've had personal experiences on the island where I stayed in a house that had a doctor that haunted it.
Yeah.
And you could walk upstairs and you could hear the doctor pacing up and down the stairs. There is a girl that died of yellow fever, and a servant's daughter died of yellow fever. And when they were in the room, your head started pounding, you started sweating, felt sick to your stomach, felt like you were going to throw up. You know, as soon as they walked out, you started feeling fine.
Oh my gosh.
The backyard, there was actually 5 babies that died of yellow fever, and the doctor actually buried them in his garden.
Oh my
And if you
goodness.
step on them, you will start sweating and feeling sick. And that's the exact locations.
You know, we could go on and on with these stories, and it's not just you guys and myself. It's like so many people have so many stories about that place. And even, like I said, even people who don't believe in ghosts have experienced things. They've come up to me and say, "Hey, Brian, I know you're into the ghost thing. I don't believe in ghosts, but I just saw an apparition coming down the stairs. Don't tell anybody because I don't believe in that. And here I am upset because I haven't seen anything. I've experienced a lot of things, but I haven't specifically seen anything.
I've even had the so-called Officer Daniel Brister run his fingers through my hair more than once and scratch the back of my head.
Okay, now Daniel's done something with me. I was doing a tour. I went into the bathroom and I was washing my hands and somebody knocked on the door and I said, I'll be right there. And then they started to open the door. And that's when my hand was about to get on the handle. I'm about to open the door and the handle's going. I'm like, I said I'm right, almost out. And nobody was there. And he's known to kind of prank the men and kind of love on the women, right? I mean, it's good guy, a good spirit.
He's very,
and we know his
very
description
fun-loving.
too.
Yeah.
We just can't find a picture of him.
They say he's very much of a ladies' man.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
You know, but
Very
he
handsome.
is very much of a prankster.
Blonde hair, blue-eyed, looks like a quarterback. We call him the J.J. Watt of the 1920s.
Oh, man.
James came up with that one.
You know, he's a good old Texas boy. And so we do know that, you know, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
You know, he definitely loves his Texas, and he loves Galveston.
Gosh, and you know, I gotta bring it up. A lot of children and animals can see ghosts more than anything, and I've heard so many weird, creepy stories from children. You know, that just it's like amazing. Even talking about past lives and stuff.
Oh yeah, I
Now,
had
why do you think it is that innocence?
Well, for children, you know, they've not been taught that anything's wrong, you know, that they're not supposed to see this, they're not supposed to talk about this. They're just open to everything. They've not been taught to close things off.
Yeah.
And so they can see and hear and interact. And a lot of people say that many times as young kids, our imaginary friends were probably not imaginary.
Yeah.
They were probably spirits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I had a little girl named Katie on my tour last week. She said she was explaining everything that she remembered, and she said, I was supposed to find you. I was here, and you were there with me. I was supposed to, and I remember being a man back in the 1920s here, and then a woman during the Civil War, and I think she was down here in Galveston during the Civil War.
And you know, the veil between our life and, you know, the spirit world is very thin.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes it breaks. And sometimes we see portions into this.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I've seen him in my own house.
I'm going to share a story that was told with me. A friend of mine was working at Moody Mansion.
Okay.
And she was with one of the tour guides, and they had just finished walking through the dining room. And the tour guide had put her script down on the table, was sitting there talking to him, and they had left the room, and she realized she didn't have her script. So she turned around to go grab her script, and she turns to look in the dining room. She said she is looking in the 1920s, and the entire Moody family is sitting at the dining table having dinner. She can hear the conversation. She
I'm
can
getting
hear
chills.
the clanking of the spoons, you know, and it's like, for an instant, she sees them, she turns to get her friend for her to see it, and when they turn around, there's nothing there, and her script is laying right there.
Here's a beautiful description of how this works in my mind. If you remember the old stereos in your car, just old stereo where you turn the dial and you go through the different radio stations and you hear the station perfectly, and then you try to tune in to another one and you get the static, you know, and then it goes to the next station, right? Well, in between the two frequencies, sometimes you could hear both radio stations at the same time. Yeah. And this is what we're talking about, where we see our frequency and see another frequency that happened at a certain time kind of blend and mix together on accident. And I know that water is a big attraction for spirits, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it holds a lot of energy.
Galveston is an interesting place because, you know, of course it is the island.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of tragedy there, but being surrounded by the water, it's almost like time changes when you get over there.
Yes.
Galveston, when you leave from Houston, you can feel as soon as you cross the causeway. I talked to 1,000 different people, and they say, you know, when we cross the causeway, we can feel
You
the
can just
change.
feel it, yeah. As soon as you go off
you
the
immediately
Step
bridge,
into a whole nother world.
it's a whole nother world when you get there. I got it.
I
And
love
most
it
of the
down
people
there.
that live there, you know, they all have ghosts. And most of them
And
are
they're
not scared
so
of them.
nonchalant about it.
Yeah, it's like
You get used
they
to it.
actually get upset if they don't have one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I want one, you know.
Now there's how many tours are operating right now?
Officially, we have 3.
Through tonight. I did mine last night, so I'm off tonight.
All throughout the week,
Yeah.
Monday through Saturday, you're going to have the Old Strand Tour.
Okay.
And
And what time is that?
That one usually it's about 7:30
Yeah,
Monday through Friday. isn't it?
except for Sundays. Tomorrow will be at 6.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're going to go basically Monday through Saturday, same time, 7:30.
Okay, and that's year round, the original Strand Tour. Okay.
But Restless Spirits and the Cemetery, both of those are going to be done at 8. Usually you meet about 7:30, 7:45
Mhm.
to get checked in. to
And
start
what days
doing
are
the tour.
those happening?
Those are Thursdays and Fridays.
Thursdays and Fridays are the Restless Spirits Tour and the Cemetery Tour.
Now, occasionally we will do a private tour.
Yeah.
Like we have a group that wants to come down and they want to have a tour and they can't make it on one of those days.
Yeah.
They can call ahead. They can request a private tour, sometimes even request a special person to do it.
Sure.
And we will accommodate if possible.
And you guys do ghost hunts as well still?
Yes,
We do ghost hunts. Usually we do them once a year. Usually about October is when we're going to do one.
Yeah.
In fact, we're working on the next ghost hunt where that's going to be.
Oh gosh, what are you guys thinking about? I mean, I think I've talked to Dash a little bit, but can you reveal anything?
We haven't heard yet.
Okay.
Not
okay.
yet.
I will
Just
tell
know
you-
it's going to be an awesome place. The past places that they've done hunts, and you got to understand, friends, this isn't just a tour that happens all the time. These ghost hunts, they rent out a very historical haunted place, and you buy tickets and you stay there from 11 to 3 in the morning.
Oh,
Usually
yeah.
about 11:30, definitely during the witching hour.
You could, yeah, and you could bring any paranormal equipment you want. You could create your own ghost show or whatever you want out of it. Of course, respect everyone who's there and the property and the people around you, and of course the spirits.
And we bring other people in that are experts that have their own
Yes, that's
equipment,
true.
and they'll teach you things too.
Yeah,
while
that's
you're
true.
doing the
He's
tour.
had celebrities join us for the ghost
Yep,
hunts.
like
Yeah.
Brad Kling's been there.
Yeah,
the
from
Kling
Ghost
Brothers, And
I mean, you'll have a number of people that will show up, and it's interesting because a lot of people don't know any of the history.
Oh, I
Some
know.
of them know the history, some don't. Some of them have, kind of what the stories have been told, but there's no verifiable proof of it. So you learn a lot from each other.
Yeah.
But every one of us have our wish list.
oh yeah.
And we got this long wish list of places. In fact, several of us have actually already started talking to other people that we would love to go into this building, and we're already starting to talk to them and see what it would require for us to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And then we're going to bring that to Dash and say, hey, we've got some other possibilities. What do you think?
That's great. And
So,
he's such a great guy, Dash
Oh,
Beardsley, the creator of the Ghost Tours of Galveston. Very connected, very very unique character, very very good man. Now, how do you get tickets? How do you get
The
tickets?
easiest
for
way
this?
to do it, you can always walk up on a tour anytime.
Okay.
And pay cash or pay with card right there on the tour.
Mhm.
But you can also go to Ghost Tours of GalvestonIsland.com. It's going to list every one of our tours, give you our tour dates, all that. You can actually click there. It will bring you to the page where you can purchase tickets ahead of time.
Okay.
And you can pay with card there. And it will notify us ahead of time that you're coming. So we already know to plan for these people.
Sure.
It also gives you a contact number if for some reason, hey, I'm running late or something, you're able to contact us and let us know.
Nice.
So, there's a lot of ways to get in touch with us. And of course, with all of us, when you're on a tour, of course, we're going to give you the tour. We're going to tell you everything there is. Afterwards, we'd love to hear back from our guests.
Oh
yes,
yeah,
we
their stories are
definitely
really
do.
good too.
Yeah, and if you get pictures, we want to get those pictures. It's
Oh, yes.
sad how many times we've given a tour and we've
No one
caught an
sends them.
amazing picture.
Yeah,
And there is no record of that picture.
I got to the point where I had them text me the picture immediately because
Yeah.
you
Ellie, our
you
new one,
asked
Ellie
them-
is doing that.
Yeah, and they've said they'll email it to you or whatever, and
And then they
I've heard
won't.
some great audio clips, and I just like, send it to me. Oh, we will. That never came. So, you got to push it. You
Yeah, it's
get that
like-
evidence. That's important to get that evidence.
Yeah, it's like, please send it to
Yeah,
us.
we
Let us see
want
it.
them.
We want it.
We want you to send us y'all's pictures.
Yeah, that's right.
As we always say, our best pictures come from our guests.
And I had one the other night on my tour. I had a patron stop me, walk into my car, and it was a picture of me pointing towards the entrance to Civil War Hospital with the steps up, and I was telling the red story.
Yeah.
And it looks like out of the glass there is a face and a nose of a Civil War soldier just walking out. And I had felt somebody there when I was telling Red's story. I knew somebody was there, and it was cool to see that picture.
Wow.
And recently, I'm not 100% certain because I'm still working on the evidence here, but I was on basically the Restless Spirits tour, wandering with friends, with our guide, just kind of seeing how it went. And I'm snapping pictures as they're talking in the clothing couture store. And as I'm taking those pictures, I went back and later looked, and in one of them, you can see where a car was sitting across the street. And
Yes.
the car, apparently the mirror, you see it morph from a mirror into what looks like a dog's face.
Okay.
And then eventually you see standing in the mirror this shadowy figure of a person standing there. And the car's gone.
Oh my goodness.
And I have the pictures, and I've slowly been trying to go back and make sure that I'm not imagining it.
Yeah.
That I am truly seeing what I think, because it was dark, and I just had this mirror for a long time. I thought it was a window out the back door.
Yeah.
I was like, but no, this is a mirror looking out the front. So,
Goodness.
there's a lot of stuff that we are working on trying to make sure we have the evidence. We
Yeah.
get historic photos, so as we give the tour, not only are we giving you the ghostly stuff, we're giving you the history too.
That's wonderful.
And whenever we give you a story, if we don't know it, of course, we're going to say legend has it.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, you
don't
gotta do
know
it.
the legends for sure, but we do know the history.
Yeah, there's
Oh, yeah.
there's so many stories. There's no reason to make anything up, and whenever they get stories, you got to make sure it's legitimate and not legitimate.
Exactly.
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we get out of here?
I think we are good.
Yeah.
All right, and now, friends, a special treat. Every week we're going to give away a prize, and this week's prize for this show is 2 tickets to any of the tours here. Not a private tour, none of the special events, but the original Strand tour, the Cemetery tour, or the Restless Spirits tour. And I talked to Dash, and it's all good.
Okay.
And I want to make sure that it's that it doesn't take away from the whatever percentage or whatever.
No, it
You
won't.
know,
No,
so I'm
yeah,
just,
no.
I just want to make sure it works out.
It's
But
all good.
to get 2 tickets to one of the Ghost Tours of Galveston Island, let's say it expires at the end of the year. Who knows? I don't know. We just don't want it to linger and then nobody remembers, who the hell are you? Okay? So how to get to 2 tickets to one of these tours. I want you in the comments to tell me a reason why you should get these tickets. I mean, you haven't been to a tour, you've been dying to go to Galveston, you need to go there. Give me your best reason, your best story of why you want to have these tickets. Or give me a really good ghost story. We'll get into all this. We'll figure it out, and I'll choose the best one, and you'll get those 2 tickets. Friends, thank you so much.
Not a
That
problem.
was
Glad
fun.
to be here.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's cool to hang out again.
Yeah, I know.
Been a long
James and Jordan, everybody.
Hi.
Yeah, Ghost Tours of Galveston Island. Now
Bye,
we're out of
guys.
here. Get out of here. Go! We don't want you here anymore. Bye.